So the Spurs have done a madness, a legitimate madness where they've managed to get not only 2 top 10 picks, but 2 pretty good ones. Pick 4 and 8 in the 2024 NBA draft is what they were able to get in the lottery. Again, I'm going to be going over in today's video who I think they should be taking at both picks. I'm looking at 2 dudes who probably could start next season for them realistically, especially the guy I'm going to be taking with the 4th overall pick. Again, if you haven't already, go and check out my official 2024 NBA mock draft to see who I have all the other teams selecting. That will, of course, be linked in the description down below. But without further ado, let's just get straight into it with who I think the Spurs should select at pick 4 and 8. Now, moving on with the 4th overall pick, we have the San Antonio Spurs. And I've actually got them selecting the exact same guy I had them selecting before the lottery even happened, and that's of course Nikola Topic. I believe Topic makes a ton of sense for this team. You've got a 6'7" point guard who some people believe is the 2nd best player in the draft. Again, he's the most dynamic playmaker in this whole entire draft by a considerable margin. He's extremely effective in the pick and roll, makes great skip passes, and is known to show off with some mind-boggling vision. He's one of the best passers they've seen in the draft since, of course, Josh Giddey, and could automatically come into the NBA and be one of the best passers as well. Again, there's been some doubts on his scoring ability, but he's definitely improved on that. Some saying it will already translate to the NBA. He's got a great first step and is fast enough to get by absolutely anyone. He's also extremely talented around the rim, being 6'7". He showed great signs with his shiftiness and would make it unstoppable if his Europe play, of course, does translate to the NBA. He's got a really good mid-range shot. He definitely needs to improve on his 3-point ball, but it looks like that is very much coming as we go. Again, his main downside is his 3-point shooting, as I just said. He is a pretty good off-ball defender, but his on-ball defense right now appears to not be the greatest, and he'll definitely want to improve on that in the NBA. Of course, that's something that Pop might not necessarily like, but his ball handling and creativity is outside of this world. Again, being such an incredible pick-and-roll player and passer, he is going to fit really well with Victor Wembanyama, and that should be the goal with this pick. Wembanyama, arguably to some, is already a top 10, top 15 player in the NBA, especially going into next season. This guy did that with not exactly the greatest passes around him. Again, no offense to Trey Jones, who is low-key a very good passer, but I just think if you're bringing in a dude like Nikola Topic, who doesn't necessarily need to be a shot creator, you've already got Vassell there, you've got Wembanyama there, and you've got Keldon Johnson, who played a lot off the bench. If you were going to tell Nikola Topic, all you need to do is come in and be an elite playmaker, play some defense, and occasionally step up as a shot creator when we need you to, this man is probably going to average 10 assists per game. Like, you're putting him in straight away, most likely as the starting point guard, under Greg Popovich, where he's going to have Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Victor Wembanyama to play make to. And that's not even counting if they decide to sign a very good shot creator in, free agency. If they were to bring another good shot creator in, maybe even if it's a bench player, like a Malik Monk, right? Probably not him, but, just using him as an example. If you were to bring in a type of guy like that, give, obviously, Nikola Topic 4 very good shot creators to play with, this man is legitimately going to average you probably above 6 assists in his first season, which would be absolutely insane. And this guy's got 10 assists average per season, or per game, I should say, written all over him, in my opinion. He is the prototypical guy you want to obviously match Victor Wembanyama with. So I think it makes a ton of sense to go forward with this pick. He also fits Vassell's game style, who they, of course, seem to want to move with in the future as well. And again, you keep building out that starting 5, maybe sign another guy here and there as well, and you're going to have a really good team in San Antonio straight away. This makes a ton of sense for the San Antonio Spurs, and yeah, there's a lot going on here. Again, I didn't mention who he is compared with, but it is being said that he's a bit of a Manu Ginobili, Tyrese Halliburton hybrid of a player, and I think anyone who hears Tyrese Halliburton at this rate just makes you want to drop to the floor and start crying in Walmart or something because of how beautiful that man's play is on the court. Again, leading the Indiana Pacers to a second round series where they did, of course, do very, very well. I think it is a very great pick by, you know, the San Antonio Spurs. And if you're needing to bring in a player who's going to match Wembanyama, yeah, you're practically already doing that here. So with the 4th overall pick, I've got the San Antonio Spurs selecting Nikola Topic. 8th overall pick, we have the San Antonio Spurs, who really lucked out in this draft, getting the 4th overall pick. Again, who I, of course, did have them selecting Nikola Topic. Again, a lot of people saying he's going to drop in the draft because he did his ACL and stuff. Turns out he obviously did not do his ACL. In fact, he was pretty lucky, but escaped with, I think, minor injuries. He definitely will still go pretty high in this draft. At pick 8, though, they're going to be looking for another guy to bring in. I've got a bit more of a development guy, but of course, half this draft is pretty development, as we know. And I've actually got them selecting Ron Holland at pick 7. Again, some drafts have him at 6, some have him about 10. This is a guy who will take some time to develop, but has potential to be one of the best players out of this draft. Again, was, I believe, ranked the number 1 overall pick at one stage in this draft. It's being said he's one of the most well-rounded athletes in this whole entire class. He's fast, he's strong, and his vert is extremely good. He has the ideal frame for a wing in the NBA, being 6'8" with long arms and a ton of muscle. He's an elite scorer in transition. He gets down the court faster than anyone else, and he's good at finishing plays at high speeds. He's a solid mover off the ball, good cutter, and can fly around screens. Great driver, great finisher around the rim, and he's got very good perimeter defense. Again, some of the things that he's not good at. His shot creation can be a bit inconsistent. He can be slightly turnover prone, with his passing not exactly being the greatest, and he doesn't exactly have the best three-point shot. A couple of comparisons, though, are Jaylen Brown. When Jaylen Brown first came into the NBA, his shooting was very streaky for the first couple of years, but you're looking at a dude who could who was extremely athletic, very good defender, who could basically do everything but be the greatest shooter and greatest ball handler. Jaylen Brown is still not the greatest ball handler. There's always that meme, telling him to change hands and all this type of stuff, make him go left. When we're looking at this right now, right, Ron Holland is a guy that the Spurs have time to develop. They're looking for a ton of positions right now on that San Antonio Spurs team. We obviously know they've got their center filled out and their shooting guard, but those are really the only two main ones. They seem to really like Keldon Johnson off the bench. I'm hoping for them they bring Cedi Osman back. I felt like he was very good for them as well as a bench player and sometimes starter. But if you're looking for a point guard now, you got that Nikola Topic pick coming in. They might be looking for a small forward who is going to come in and play defense, which Ron Holland will definitely come in and do. And I think it just makes sense overall. We know the Spurs they're probably going to be rebuilding for another year or two. It's probably going to be a lot more fast-tracked than a lot of other teams, though, just because Wembanyama is arguably a top 15, near top 10 player already in the league. That's just obvious, right? And then if you partner him with Topic, who's not only one of the best passers in the draft, but a guy who could be one of the best passers in the NBA straight away, you're looking at a team who's quite quickly going to run up and move up this draft ranks. The perfect thing I love about San Antonio that has gone super underrated as well, in my opinion, is they know their roles already. Even though they are one of the worst teams in the NBA, you see Greg Popovich already telling Keldon Johnson to come off that bench. The reason is because even though Keldon Johnson might be good enough to start, he knows eventually on this Spurs team, Keldon Johnson will be a six-man in the NBA and will be an elite six-man in the NBA. This has meant that he's left the small forward position open, he's left the power forward position open, and he's told his scouts to go and draft these guys because I've already got you a 6-man, I've got you the shooting guard, and I've got you the center. Go fill me out the rest of the starting 5. And that's what I think they're going to do with Ron Holland. I think they're going to look at him and just say, look, we need that small forward. We need a guy who has size, who is athletic, who can defend. Again, he might not be the greatest shot creator, but do San Antonio really need a shot creator right now? Again, you've got Wembanyama there. You've got Devin Vassell right there as well. And as mentioned before, Keldon Johnson off that bench. There's also a rumor going around that the Spurs could very look to trade in another contract or sign a guy to be a bench warmer. Well, not necessarily bench warmer, be a shot creator off the bench. Saying a bench warmer is a bit hard and a bit harsh, I should say. But I did see someone say, and this is obviously not probably going to happen, but I saw someone say, like, if the Mavericks wanted to dump a guy like Tim Hardaway, who's on $18 million, who, you know, they might look to move him to free up some cap, right? Well, then the Spurs, they not only have cap, but are looking for a shot creator maybe off that bench instead of starting. That could be like the type of player. So I don't necessarily think they're going to be looking for a major shot creator straight away with this pick. And they're going to look for a dude that they can maybe develop, that can start at small forward, can play his role as a 3-and-D wing and just be a very good defender. And that's exactly what I think Ron Holland can do and accomplish for this San Antonio Spurs team. So I love this pick. I love both the picks that I've got them taking, which is, of course, Topic and, you know, Ron Holland. I think the fact is that the Spurs can automatically bring in now 2 extra starters while, let's just say, Trey Jones goes to that bench. You have Jones off the bench now, a full-time Keldon Johnson off that bench. Jetty Osman will be pretty much full-time off that bench if they bring him back. A lot of things are starting to look up for San Antonio, and I wouldn't be surprised if this rebuild was absolutely fast-tracked and they were competing for the playoffs in legitimately no time. So that's why, of course, I do have them selecting Ron Holland, of course, with the 8th overall pick. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Did you guys like this mock draft, or did you guys not? Who would you disagree with, and whatever it might be? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA content, NBA news, draft content, all that type of stuff. And don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlog channel, gaming channels. All of them will, of course, be getting linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.